So this is the new moon in Pisces forecast. You see the moon is up here very close to the sun. We'll get the exact time. This new moon in Pisces is also going to happen with Mercury. Also in Pisces, Mercury debilitated. Also Venus at the very end of the sign, Mars at the end of the sign. A lot of energy in transition right now with this new moon, and it happens at when the moon is at exactly, get it right here. So it's like 5:44 Pacific time on April 10th. So you see that's very exact here. We're looking at the sun and the moon. Actually, let me get it exact here. It's 5:35. Let's say 5:35 Pacific time. Mercury, Moon, Sun, Mars, Venus in Pisces. A lot of stuff going on. We have a debilitated Mercury, exalted Venus at the very extremes. Mercury has just entered Pisces. Venus is just about to leave it. And in fact, the next day, the day after, or actually it's literally the same day as the moon moves into Aries, Venus will also move into Aries. So you see, right after this new moon, Venus moves in. By one day later, both Venus and the moon have moved. So, very transitional day. So it's this new moon in Pisces, but then all the planets go into Aries. So it's this switch from Pisces to Aries. Big shift here in April. If you saw the forecast that I did at the beginning of April, I talked about this a lot. In addition to having both Sun and Moon, having both Moon and Venus about to go into Aries, Mercury has just barely entered Pisces, its sign of debilitation. So had a big shift. Mercury had been in these Saturn ruled signs for several months. Now it's debilitated in Pisces, so all of a sudden we're a little less focused on the details and being precise in what we say. These kinds of things happen when Mercury is debilitated. It would have been a good time to get official business finished, especially as it relates to teaching and contracts and things like that. I had been advising people to do that because we had this Venus-Jupiter exchange for quite a while, and Mercury was strong also. A lot of that has changed. Now all these planets are moving. Venus and Jupiter will no longer be exchanging with each other. In fact, then all the planets move into Aries, where Mars and the Sun will be. So that brings quite a different energy. So we're in the midst of quite a transition. There's about to be a lot of Aries intensity, which is a lot of initiation, starting new things, striking out in a more independent way, as we've been kind of hanging out in that Pisces state of wanting to connect with things and be inspired and just kind of float through life. So a lot of these planets are going to be moving into Aries, but Mercury is going into Pisces. Mercury, which is about speech, communication, thinking clearly, that's going to be in Pisces. So there's still going to be a Pisces energy, but it's going to be a debilitated Mercury there. So notice this for the next several weeks. So even though this is a new moon in Pisces, it's at the end of Pisces, and it's really starting an Aries cycle because all these planets are about to move into Aries, including the Sun. You'll see what I mean. This is April 10th at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. Then this is April 11th. You see Venus is there in Aries. April 12th, Mars is about to go. April 13th, oops, that was 1 hour. No. This is April 13th, Mars has moved into Aries. April 14th, the Sun is in Aries. So literally, we have this new moon early Wednesday morning. By Sunday, all those planets have moved into Pisces except Mercury. So all these planets that we have on this new moon, this stack of planets here, on the new moon, 4 days later, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all in Aries. Big shift. So now is a time for, as I say, kind of dreaming yourself awake. So pay attention to that sort of subconscious energy that's been happening, that you've been kind of ruminating over, and then allow it to lead you to a new course of action, a new inspired purpose as these planets go into Aries. Now, very important is the nakshatra Revati. Moon, Sun, Mars, and Venus are in Revati nakshatra. Revati nakshatra is ruled by the god called Pushan, who is like a shepherd god. So there's a lot of this kind of shepherding, or of this kind of completion, and this kind of gentle, this journey home after a long trip around the zodiac. All these planets are at the very end of the zodiac, so there's a kind of a sort of culmination. It feels like, in some ways, even though this is a new moon, it feels like this new moon is the beginning of something ending. The beginning of something ending that we're about to initiate and take action on. So it's a very interesting mix of the beginning of an ending and then the cycle of a new beginning with the planets moving through Aries. And a kind of gentle resignation where we're like, okay, it's time for something to end, time for something else to begin with enthusiasm. So bear that in mind. Now I'll do the forecast for all 12 signs, and you can get this for your sign for only 1 penny, and you can be a part of my member site. Hundreds of people are and have been for only 1 penny, and then you can get the full April forecast for every day this month, and also see how these things influence your sign. Just follow the link below and sign up for that. I'm sure you'll really like it.